Bonjour et bienvenue sur Speak French avec moi. Je m'appelle Séverine. Hello and welcome to Speak French avec moi. My name is Séverine. I am here to teach you French before you travel to France. Today I will teach you the most simple way to ask a question in French. And one more thing, I don't know if I mentioned this before, check my Facebook page for more inspiring content to prep your travel to France and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Are you ready to speak French? First, do not try to translate words for words from your language. For example, maybe you speak English and you think something like, I know that to do is faire in French, so I will start my questions with faire, just as do you or does she. French grammar is different. How do you translate simple questions like, do you have a blanket or can I have some water? In French, we have many ways to ask the same question. Maybe this is the same in your language. I will teach you the easiest way to ask a question in French. First is to think if you're about to ask a closed-ended question or an open-ended question. A closed-ended question is answered by yes, no, maybe, or I don't know. An open-ended question is answered by sentences, an explanation, an opinion, an idea, etc. For example, can I have some water is a closed-ended question, and what do you have for lunch is an open-ended question. In French, a closed-ended question always starts with est-ce que. Again, a closed-end question in French always starts with est-ce que. Est-ce que. The sound is est-ce que. Est-ce que. By the way, you will find the transcript on my website, speakfrenchavecmoi.com. Now we know a question such as can I have some water will start in French with est-ce que. Open-ended questions start with qu'est-ce que, qu'est-ce que, qu'est-ce que, qu'est-ce que, qu'est-ce que with a K sound at the start. Now we know that a question such as what do you have for lunch will start with qu'est-ce que. Second, after est-ce que ou qu'est-ce que, the sentence order in French is subject plus verb plus complement. This means that you keep the order the same as the declarative sentence. To ask a question, use est-ce que or qu'est-ce que plus subject plus verb plus complement. I know you're a beginner and you may not have enough French knowledge, but let's practice. How to translate can I have some water? This is a closed-ended question. In French, question will start with est-ce que and then subject plus verb plus complement. I is the subject, can is the verb, have some water is the complement. I can is je peux in French, have is avoir, to have, avoir in French, and some water is de l'eau. Again, check my website to follow the spelling. Can I have some water is Est-ce que je peux avoir de l'eau? Est-ce que je peux avoir de l'eau? Now, I don't ask for you to remember sentences by heart. I want you to understand how it works. To ask an open-ended question, it's est-ce que plus subject plus verb plus complement. Est-ce que je peux avoir de l'eau? Can I have some water? Now, how do you translate something like, do you have a blanket? This is a closed-ended question. So you start with est-ce que, then subject plus verb plus complement. You is the subject, have is the verb, and blanket is the complement. You have in French is vous avez, two words that you link together. Vous avez becomes vous avez. And a is une because blanket is feminine. Blanket is couverture. Let's put it together. Do you have a blanket? Is est-ce que vous avez une couverture in French? Est-ce que, or closed-ended, vous avez une couverture? Let's remember, closed-ended question start with est-ce que, then subject plus verb plus complement. How to translate what do you have for lunch? This is an open-ended question. You start with qu'est-ce que? Qu'est-ce que? And then you follow with subject plus verb plus complement. You is subject, have is the verb, and for lunch is the complement. We just learned that you is vous and have is avez. Vous avez, you have. And for lunch, we'll translate pour le déjeuner. For is pour, and lunch we translate in the lunch in French. Pour le déjeuner. What do you have for lunch in French is qu'est-ce que vous avez pour le déjeuner? Open-ended questions start with qu'est-ce que, then subject plus verb plus complement. Of course, you have to practice at home. Think if you will start your question by est-ce que or qu'est-ce que in French. So you should also strive to learn 20 to 40 French words per week, like verbs, nouns, or adjectives. I will take care of the grammar and I will take care of explaining plainly and simply how to build sentences in French. By now, you know the difference between closed-ended questions and open-ended questions and the simplest way to ask questions in French. I thank you for listening to my podcast wherever you are in the world. You will be soon traveling to France. Again, so many of you are listening to my podcast. I'm very happy. Please consider subscribing to make sure that you get my next episode and leave me a rating if you find my teaching helpful and relevant. Merci, à bientôt, au revoir.